what are the secrets in your waistline? What can we learn and how can we use it? It's webinar 45, and we are at the last webinar of October. Can you believe that? Uh-oh, almost canceled the whole thing. We don't want to do that. We want to share. So, metabolic checkpoint, waistline secrets. What can our waistline tell us? Now we see we have all these other things on the screen, the tape measure, the scales, the blood pressure cuff, but all of this is looking at our heart health. It is webinar 45, and these are DIY tests and trackers before the holidays. We want to be minimalists and science smart. So this is our last Fall Lights Mastery themed webinar. It's October 25, and we want to know why your shape beats your scale. Now, whatever does that mean? Well, we're looking at heart risk, cardiac risk. How can we determine what our risk is and what's the best way to track it? So here's the thing, your weight alone does not equal your risk factor, your risk number, because it makes all the difference in the world, your fat distribution. Where is the fat on your body? There's something called central fat or visceral fat, and this is the fat around your waist. And that is the fat that drives your cardio-metabolic risk, heart disease, type 2 diabetes, and more. So we're going to discover a powerful screen that you can do at home in 60 seconds. Now, you ladies on the call might recognize these letters. I don't know about the dudes, but there's something called Know Your Shape, and one of the methods is the hoax method. Another is the ruler, apple, pear, hourglass method. And when I learned this in college, and it made all the difference because there's a thing called dressing for your body shape. There are just some things that apples should not wear. And there's some things that look good on apples that pears or hourglasses can't wear or rulers can't wear. So now the hourglass, I think they could wear anything. I think. I can't remember. I've never been an hourglass, so I had to stay in my lane, which I was a pear for life. I was an A shape until some things happened. So, but here's the thing. Let's just take a look at what these things mean. So, I'm getting there. There we go. Okay, so the HOAX, or the ruler, apple, pear, hourglass. Can you see it? It's all about where your fat is distributed in your body. And like I said, I was a lifelong A until midlife happened and yo-yo dieting happened. And one day I was an O. I was like, oh no. So, and we can talk about why that happens. Maybe that'll come up later. So just looking at these, can you see the apple or the O carries the weight centrally or viscerally? And so not weight, fat. Okay, it's all about the fat distribution. And the thing about visceral fat or central fat, visceral actually means your organs. This fat is not just on the outside, quote unquote, of your muscles just under your skin, but it's deep inside around your organs and causing all kinds of stress and inflammation. And healthline.com has this article, What to Know About Truncal Obesity. And I just circled that one area. People with truncal obesity are at an increased risk of complications such as heart health concerns, type 2 diabetes, cancer, and a reduced life expectancy. All right. Give me 1 sec. We went back. Okay, here we go. So, how do we measure this? How do we measure our life expectancy and our risk of cardiovascular disease? Traditionally, we came upon this measurement called body mass index, which was used for decades. However, the question is the BMI telling you the whole story? Today, we're going to discover the 1-minute measurement that predicts risk better than the BMI. How to read your number, if it's normal, or if it's a little bit high, or if it's in the red, and what to do next. And actually, we're going to have a strategy for each body shape as we prepare for conquering the holidays. All right, before we get to all the secrets, I want to introduce myself. I'm Dr. Lisa Singletary, MD, MPH, CWHC. I Googled myself yesterday. It was a challenge on another training. And I have a picture in there where I'm a male doctor in a man in a doctor coat. So there are several pictures of me that aren't me, but that's why I put all my, well, not all, but I put these 3 credentials because it helps narrow down who I am to the internet. There are at least 5 other Dr. Lisa Singletaries, it looks like. So, MD, yeah, looks like it. So anyway, thank you for being here today. I'm here every Saturday, and my mission is to help empower you to transform your life from the inside out with the 5 M's of total transformation. I'm known as the 100-pound weight loss specialist because I've lost over 150 pounds, and I developed this framework of the 5 M's of total transformation: mindset, macronutrients, micronutrients, motion, and measurement. And today I'm wearing a red shirt, so it's measurement day. I'm a retired family physician. I have a master's in public health, which is why I love digging into these studies. I'm a certified holistic health coach, and I want to help you get to your health goals. Now, I was a very, very, very heavy girl in 2006, but I was still a Pear, right? I still carried my main weight in my thighs and my butt. But in 2008, I gave up my medical practice. I gave up ballroom dancing to take care of my parents. And 8 years later, when they transitioned, I needed my father's wheelchair just to get around the house. And by then, I was definitely an apple. I needed a miracle. Now, we don't talk about miracles in health and wellness. I'm not going to tell you I found a miracle. This is my disclaimer slide. So I am not diagnosing, treating, or curing any medical diseases. I'm not giving you a second opinion. Your insurance won't pay for me, but I'm giving you my personal experience, my medical knowledge, my experience with my clients, and I'm happy to do it. Now, yeah, this it astounds me every time I watch this. Look at this chart. So when I turned 60, I plotted my weight through the years. I've been on a diet since I was 6, and weight was like the number one thing in my life. And so I could remember the numbers, and I said, let me just see what was going on. And sure enough, every year I gained 1 to 3 pounds, except for the brief time when I took a weight loss drug, had some side effects, stopped the drug, and my weight was right back on the same trajectory, just like I'd never lost that weight. The only problem is when you do a yo-yo diet, when you lose weight and then gain it back plus more, it's not just, you don't gain it back in the same places where you lost it. And depending on your hormones, your diet, your nutrients, all those factors, your exercise, all those factors, you can change from, sadly, a pear to an apple. And my risk was increasing. But something happened. I learned how to turn that trajectory around. And I went from the picture on the left to the picture in the middle. I lost 85 pounds in 8 months on nutrition and adding dieting, So I learned I I lost 85 pounds on just micro nutrition, just adding the right supplements to complete the nutritional requirements of my body. Then when I added in the macronutrients, when I cut down the carbs and increase the protein, that helped me to go and maintain the weight loss. And I'm still on the journey today. So we want to talk about how to calculate the risk. And we're going to go beyond BMI. So Healthline has a little article. Why do we still rely on the BMI, which is called the body mass index? And there's this little paragraph that where there was the quote, I can't tell you how many people get dismissed from their doctor because they don't look like they have heart disease, and so also because they're an athlete, because they're thin, they're not cardio-metabolically healthy. A lot of doctors will be like, no, you're fine. You eat healthy, you exercise, don't worry. Then they have a cardiac event. Yeah, they don't have the whole picture there, but the idea is the BMI is not perfect. And this is why. It can't tell the difference between fat and muscle. The BMI misses where the fat is located in the body, whether it's abdominal or visceral fat, or whether it's on your hips. So you can have two people with the same BMI with totally different risk. Now, why is that? Because BMI is measured based on your weight and your height. Remember those two things, your weight and your height. So these two dudes can have the same weight and the same height, so they can have the same BMI. But we have no idea how much fat is on their bodies or where the fat is distributed just based on the BMI. So just BMI alone, the athlete could have looks on paper like he has the same risk as the couch potato, but he does not. So what can we do? The midsection matters. The visceral fat is where the inflammation is happening. It's where the metabolic shifts are happening. It's strongly tied to insulin resistance, blood pressure, lipids, cardiovascular disease. We need a simple way to capture the weight, not the weight and the height. It's hard to say. Not the weight and the height, but the waist and the height. And that is called the waist to height ratio. And you calculate it by dividing the waist circumference by your height. And you just use the same measurement units. So if you're using inches for your waist circumference, use inches for your height. If you use centimeters for your waist circumference, use centimeters for your height. Why is it powerful? Well, it's not the same, or it's not completely predictive just to use the waist circumference alone. So people can have the same waist circumference, but if their height is different, their distribution of fat can be different. So this corrects for the height. It's good for men and women. The numbers are similar, but and it consistently performs BMI for measuring cardiovascular risk. So here's the rule of thumb. You want to keep your waist circumference to less than half your height. So you use a soft tape measure. When I couldn't find one, I did try using the tape measures that you get at Home Depot. You know, that was hard to do. So you want a nice soft tape measure. You want to measure just above the navel. And one thing you can do is start at your navel and measure the height where you're going to put the tape measure so you're more consistent. When you measure your height, you want your shoes off and stand tall. Use the same tape, the same time of day, and log your waist to height ratio. And during this holiday season, you might want to check it once a week, right? We want to watch that waistline. And here's a picture. So you measure your waist, you measure your height, and then you divide them. And the magic number is 0.5. You want your waist to be half of your height or less. If it's over 0.5, then we got some explaining to do, or we got some things to do. We got some strategies for you. So what to do if your waist to height ratio is high? Well, we've given you the tips in the past, but here we go. You're going to focus on protein. And when we talk about the order that you eat these things, you want the protein to be in your first bite, right? So your body's enzymes can start gearing up and you can smooth out that blood glucose curve. After your biggest meal, 10-minute walk. Ideally after every meal, but definitely after the biggest meal, if it's especially within 1 hour of ending that meal. That's going to help to smooth out, again, that glucose curve and help your metabolism stay regulated. Bonus, hit a 1 hour bedtime window 5 nights a week. So consistency is important in everything, even in our rest. Okay, so this is a fun part. So no matter what your shape is, there's a strategy for you. So apples, you want to double down on the plate order and the post-meal walk because it's all about your metabolism. Pears, we want to guard late night carbs. We don't want to switch. Trust me, you don't want to switch from an apple to a pear, and it can happen. So keep your protein consistent. a ruler, you might want to build some lean mass. So we can use our exercise snacks, but you want to use resistance. So get some light weights and make sure your protein intake is good too, because we want to build your muscle mass. An hourglass, we want to protect your sleep, and we want to do all the healthy things so you don't drift into the O shape. So no yo-yo dieting. That was my, woo, that yo-yo dieting got me. So today we discovered the secrets, why your waist tells you more than your weight when it comes to a health risk. Now, it's important, you're right? Even though I was a pear, I was a very, very heavy pear. So I had visceral fat. I can't deny that. But um, the shift changed my metabolism dramatically. All right, the power of the waist to height ratio and the 0.5 rule, your waist should be half of your height or less. 2 simple steps when your waist to height ratio is high. That's your protein, and that's 10-minute walk after a meal. And we got a bonus strategy for each body shape. All right, so it's not just the fat that's in your body that affects you, it's what you take into your body. So I'm bringing back the 12 Bad Foods Challenge. So it's 21 days. We want to skip the bad stuff, and that's going to help our bodies to have less inflammation and help our metabolism to be more balanced. So this is what the app's going to look like. And when you click to start, you check in on day 1, and here's the question: did you avoid all the bad foods today? And that takes 30 seconds to do the check-in, but we want to have a streak, and you get a little digital surprise every 7 days. So when you've completed a week streak, you get a little celebration. You get a celebration at the end. But you might say, well, what are the bad foods? Well, there's in the app, you can learn about the bad foods. You just tap on them and you can get more information about why they cause inflammation. So fried foods create harmful pro-inflammatory compounds. Oils, seed oils, vegetable oils oxidize easily, etc. So you can find this information out. And you can also find out information about the good foods, high quality proteins and nutrients, healthy fats, clean carbohydrates. So it's a great tool just to have. You can scan it, download it, or scan it, get it right on your phone, and carry it with you. You can learn about the good foods and bad foods and track the days that you avoid them. And if you can't scan the QR code right now, try to remember drlisasingletary.online/bad food challenge, which is bad-food-challenge. Alrighty. So we're deep into fall. We start next week, seasonal sync mastery. So that'll be our theme for November. And we have our time change coming up. So we just have 1 week, or what, 8 days? Let's just say a week to get the benefit. If you haven't started your fallback pet plan, which we started like 3 weeks ago, you don't have the luxury of 15 minutes every week pushing your dinner or your evening activities forward. But you could still ease into the time change when our clocks go back by every 2 to 3 days. Push forward. Well, every 2 days. You can only do it every 2 days. Every 15 minutes, make your dinner later, make your bedtime later, or make your pet's dinner later, 15 minutes every couple of days. And then when it gets down to November the 2nd and the clocks go back, you'll be right back on schedule by the number, and your body will have a little time to adjust. Alrighty. So this was webinar 45. I can't believe it, Total Transformation Secrets. And you might be just seeing me on YouTube, but I want to invite you to join me live. And you can do so at registering at drlisasingletary.online/live-zoom. And I'm going to double check that link because we had some problems in the past, but I'm going to fix that right after this call. But I have not changed the Zoom room link or the number. I'm just going to double check to make sure this will work. I heard a little birdie tell me they had some trouble. So, but 9 o'clock tonight, this very recording will premiere live on YouTube, and I would love it if you come back and join me here because I'll be live in the comments for the premiere, and I just have a ball. So that's on my YouTube channel, and you'll find all the goodness there. So thank you for joining me today. I am Dr. Lisa Singletary, and I love you all. Mwah.